video talking about my thoughts on the mask mandates and the vaccine mandates and all that stuff. We've heard so many people talk about it in the last 2 years. It's all just your opinion now. Most likely you might have heard this sentiment before, but to cut to the chase, I have changed jobs. Me and my family moved, so living in a different area now. It's a rural setting, it's not urban. So changed jobs, moved to the country. That is what I have done since the whole COVID stuff. I also want to make a video here sometime about what happened when I was in Colorado, because I went and I joined the cannabis industry, and I should really get into depth about all of that, because that's interesting stuff. I'm sure a lot of people would watch that. And so with me, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'm avoiding all this shit. Now, if I wasn't living in the country with my family, I'd be different. I'd have to figure out something else. Where am I going to live now? But at the current situation, yeah, I'm living out in the country, family members. It's working out well. And the job, working out fine. I don't have anyone telling me to take a vaccine or wear a mask all day long. Those things do not happen to me. That was happening to me in Colorado, except the whole vaccine. They weren't, the company wasn't, the vaccine wasn't there, right? So the company was not mandating such a thing. Now, I can imagine that there are going to be cannabis companies that do mandate it. It's not going to surprise me in the slightest. So what I want to say, though, is that, yeah, when I was in Colorado, and the whole mask thing happened, sure, yeah, everyone was wearing their mask as they were supposed to for a while, but then everyone realized, man, this is dumb, and people started wearing them below their noses and stuff. And just to get to the chase, no one had a problem with it except one guy. Oh, that one guy's got to be my manager. So everyone else that I worked with, like my supervisor, the assistant manager, every other employee, no problem. It was just this one guy that really had it out for me, and his excuse was, if I don't wear a mask, I could get his daughter sick and all this stuff. So to tell you about that, I had to eventually I had a point where I was, not wearing the mask properly, and he would be coming to me saying, you gotta wear it properly. And I'd say, hey man, I have asthma. And he's like, well, other people got asthma too, you gotta wear it properly. So it got to a point where that was happening often. And he's like, how many times do I gotta tell you this? You gotta wear it properly. And I'd say, Brandon, I got asthma, man. What do I gotta fucking explain to you, right? So that's when I had to go over his head, and I had to go to HR and say, hey, this manager, he keeps demanding me wear a mask, and I have asthma, and I want to get an exemption to where I don't have to wear this mask. And so I go and I get an exemption, so now I can wear this face shield thing. And so then I go back, I go back to work. And Brandon, my manager, he was telling me that's not gonna fly, man. I show up for work and I have the face shield. He's like, that's not gonna fly. Sends me home. So I, of course, tell HR, hey, I got my medical exemption. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I think this was before my medical exemption. So I think I got the face shield, right? So I show up with the face shield. And he's like, that's not gonna fly. So then I go and I get my medical exemption, right? So then I come back to work. Medical exemption, face shield. He still sends me home. So that's when I'm like telling the HR, like, hey, this guy's sent me home 2 days now. First, it was because I showed up with a face shield. Second is because I showed up with a face shield
3 lanes.
and an exemption. He still don't like that. It's still not good enough. So then, HR, they go over the exemption. He goes over it. HR tells me, okay, you can wear the face shield. You can. You're all good.
Continue on to US
Now,
183 South.
You would think this is where it ends. But no, it actually gets much, much worse. So I had this position I was trying to get. And anyway, so what happened was I was trying to get to this position where I'm working on this machine, and what it was is that you'd be dumping in like ounces of marijuana into this machine, and then it would sort it, it would weigh it separately and be like, okay, here's an ounce, here's an ounce, here's an ounce, here's an ounce. It would drop into a container, and then you'd be at this machine and be like, okay, it's telling me this is weighed properly. Is it weighed properly? Let's find out. You would weigh it yourself. If it's all good, you pass it down the line. Now, I worked at that machine. I was figuring out the 2 different jobs. There's 3 jobs in that machine, but I was figuring out the 2 jobs. And I kept coming in for overtime, like 50, 55-hour weeks. And I say this truthfully, I was the only one in my department that was doing overtime. Everyone else was not doing overtime. I was the guy. Now, I was working on that machine because I was told that machine can get you $18 an hour once you're on that. Now, some guy eventually who was working on that machine, he got promoted, and now there was an opening. So just bear with me here. And so that was awesome because I was working on that machine for about a month or so. And so then when that happened, I asked my supervisor. So he's my age. This guy's my age. And he says, yeah, let me put the word in because no one else really wants to get on that machine. I'm sure they'll let you do it. And so everything was working. And Brandon, my manager, he was like, yeah, man, you've been doing great. You've been coming in for overtime. You've been helpful, and you've been trying to learn the machine. You've been constantly changing jobs because I was in a joint department, so I was doing the joints, marijuana joints. And I was making 500, 600, 1,000 joints a day, maybe a little bit more than 1,000. But I wasn't rolling them hand by one by one. It was the machine would put the weed in there, and I'd kind of poke it down and finish it off. So I was in there, but then they would always bring me to this packaging department where you would package up all the joints, package up all the ounces, package up everything that you sell, and get it all ready for the couriers. And the couriers take it off to the shops, right? So I was in the joint department. I was in the packaging department. And then when I was in the packaging, there was that machine, right? So that machine, $18 an hour machine. I was working my way up. I had about a month or 2 where I was learning it. And then once that, once that position was open, I asked my supervisor, the guy my age, I'm like, hey, so you think I can get on that thing? I'd love to. So he puts the word in, right? And so the supervisor tells me, hey, Matt, if you keep doing what you're doing, keep coming in, learning it, keep, being excited to learn about it and everything, we can get you on that machine in 2 weeks, okay? And I was like, wow, sweet. Hell yeah, I'll do that. And so everything was great. Now this is where the mask thing comes into play. All was going great. Brandon was happy, my manager, right? And I was doing good work, doing overtime. We were getting ahead of schedule in the packaging department. Then he sends me home 2 days or 3 days over this whole shield thing. And then I finally get HR to back me up, right? So once I come back in and he can't fight it, I have to. I am wearing the shield. There's nothing he can do about it. He starts segregating me. He starts segregating me from the other employees because I'm not wearing a mask. So he's like, oh yeah, push this like leper over here, right? Way over here. So he was singling me out, putting me out away from people. Now this is where he gets me. The position is open for that machine. I'm the only one who has interest in it. I'm the one coming in for overtime. I'm the one who's constantly learning that machine. I'm meeting the people who work on that machine. They get to know me. They're like, hey man, you're looking all good. You're doing fine. You know, if they're saying you're gonna get on in 2 weeks, awesome. Like, we can't wait to have you on. You seem like a hard worker. So Brandon decides he's gonna give it to a girl. This one girl that apparently has worked at this company for longer, but she never has said she had interest in that machine. She also, every time I came in, I was like working to learn it. She never did that. She never learned that machine. I never saw her once on that machine. Now, what happens next? Brandon, my manager, decides he's gonna give this machine job to this lady, right? Worked there longer than me, never worked on that machine, never showed any interest in that machine. And that machine is a hard job. And so it's like obvious. He's got it out for me. He's gonna fuck me over. And so I go up to Brandon, I'm like, hey man, so what's the deal with you giving her the job when I was told I'm gonna get this job in 2 weeks? And he's like saying, oh no, you misunderstand. You weren't gonna get the job in 2 weeks. Hell, you might get onto the job in 6 to 9 months, if that. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. My supervisor told me 2 weeks. And then so I go up to my supervisor, I bring him over here. What does my supervisor say? Hey Brandon, you did tell him you're gonna start this job in 2 weeks. So he did back me up. That supervisor backed me up. And what does he say? Oh no, supervisor guy, whatever his name was. Gator, I think his name was. He's like, no Gator, you misunderstand. So basically, I was now back to square one. I told HR about all this. I'm like, hey, this guy just decides he's gonna rip away a job promotion that I was told I was going to get for like a while, and I've been working my way up to it. I was the only one interested, right? And then whenever Brandon decides, oh, his political ideologies decide, like, oh, this guy's not, bowing down to the whole mask mandate stuff. It's like, firstly, he's discriminating me against my asthma, because I do have asthma, okay? Like, the stuff is not near as bad as when I was a kid. But if he looked at my asthma paperwork, it'd be like this thick, dude. Like, I'm not joking. So you have asthma, but you vape. It's like, oh, I'm sorry. So that means that just because I have asthma, now I can't have nicotine. Like, fuck you. No, god damn you. Like, yeah, I can still have nicotine, thanks. And, yeah, I do have asthma, thanks. So fuck you. So anyway, so Brandon is gonna do it this way, right? And he's gonna tell the HR, oh no, I never told this kid nothing. It was just a misunderstanding by both the supervisor and me. So that's when I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm leaving. I quit. So I told the HR, like, well, I sure hope you, stop this from happening to other people, because I'm done. I'm not dealing with the idea of like, okay, I'm going to go move to a different department, start all over in a different department from scratch, because Brandon has a problem with my asthma. Fuck you. All that's made me is just more bitter against people. Like, people are assholes, man. They are, like, genuine assholes. It's like, if he can't force me to wear a mask, he's gonna force me to not want to work there no more, because he's gonna take away my job promotion that I had coming. So first, don't take anything a corporation says by word. Do not ever do that. You have it on paper. If a fucking supervisor or manager is telling you, hey, in 2 weeks you're gonna get this job, say, all right, put it down on paper. Say, on this date, 2 weeks from this fucking day, this person will get this job, and I've signed my name, and I will guarantee it. That is the only fucking way you will know that you're getting a job. That is the only way. You don't ever take someone's word for, oh yeah, it's coming to you, man. Oh, you don't have anybody else that's looking at that job. It's coming to you, man, 2 weeks. That's just lies. All of it was lies. Oh, nope, can't do that because you're wearing a face shield. So, what I kind of say to those people is like, you know what, guys? I really hope you wear those things for the rest of your fucking lives. Wear that mask and take about 50 vaccine boosters and just consider that what you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. And I hope you really fucking like it. I've had it, man. I'm not dealing with any of that bullshit. Like, yeah, I'll do crypto, and I'll find other ways to make money. Currently, lawn and landscaping. It's like a prison system, man. Like, working at these corporate jobs and these, like, just arbitrary rules. Like, oh, man, you were doing everything right, and you were working hard and all this stuff. But, like, you're not following the mask mandate the way I want, even though you have asthma, so I'm going to take it all away. That stuff, like, it's not supposed to happen in a future civilized world. That stuff is so dumb. And it's like, you know what? The only way to stop it is to avoid it. I'm avoiding it. I'm avoiding people that decide my fate over my asthma, man. Fuck you. I literally hope that you wear that shit for the rest of your life. And especially, too, most people aren't going to be even listening to this right now. But if Charles Carroll is watching, fuck you, pal. I can't stand that little guy. I can't stand Charles Carroll. If you don't know, he's like from the $1 Million Extreme show, but yeah, Charles loves getting vaccinated. Charles loves getting boosted and masked up. And, you know, he's probably going to be like that for the rest of his life. He's just going to be like breathing in his own air like the rest of his life. Taking like every single booster that comes out 6 months. It's like, yeah, man, I really hope you just have to wear like 5 masks all the time. I really hope so. So yeah, sorry about the anger in this one, but sometimes I think it kind of adds to the video. But anyway, yeah, I think the world is becoming very, very stupid. People are becoming so childish. People rule with an iron fist, and they're like, oh, it's like, you don't have asthma. That's right. I don't give a shit about your asthma. You still have to wear a mask. It's like, so I'm supposed to gain respect for you when you say that to me? Is that what you're telling me? I'm supposed to have respect? Imagine someone saying that to you. It's like, boy, I denied that you had asthma, so you had to give me a medical exemption and then go to HR and prove that you had a medical exemption just for me to shut the fuck up about it. Imagine that. I have to go to HR, get a medical exemption, go pay $100, go talk to a doctor. All this shit just for him to shut the fuck up about the mask and the whatever, man.
Second lane from left.
Unbelievable how people will crawl up your asshole and they like, hey man, I got my head so far up your ass. Don't you gain respect for me now? Don't you have like tons of respect for me now? It's like, fuck you. So yeah, no man.
Take the exit.
I can't stand this shit where people are just like, what's the big deal about wearing a mask? What's the big deal about a vaccine? What's the big deal? It's like, you'll find out one day, it's like, you know, oh man, I can't breathe through masks. Like, man, I sure wish I could wear a face shield. Like, nope. They'll just take away your job. They'll just take away your promotion, dude. Those people, man, like, okay, go gain respect from the people you have left that are dumb enough to go work for you. I mean, that's the real truth, is there is no respect for the workforce and the citizens. People are always like, oh, we need to give the police respect. Oh, we need to give the blah, blah, blah respect. We need, to give minority respect. How about citizens in general, man? The workforce. We get treated like dog shit, man. We just get shitted on. It's like, hey, man, we constitutionally are not allowed to mandate this vaccine and mask, but we're doing it anyway. That kind of shit right there, man. It's like, just imagine, a citizen's face, and you're just pounding on it with a boot, and just smearing his face right to the concrete. That's what that is. It's just like, fuck you, you don't have any rights, you don't have any say, you will do what we say, and you will gain respect for us by dominating your life. So yeah, I'm not going to gain respect for any company that decides, hey man, if you don't take this vaccine and every single booster that comes out for 6 months, you're just gonna have to be let go. It's like, so I guess there is no mutual respect. It's more like wage slavery is what you're telling me. It's more like, hey pal, if you want that shitty little crummy money, then you better come back and do what we say, because if you don't, then you're gonna be broke. You see what I'm saying? It's like, there is no respect. It's like, hey little bitch, come back to your little shitty crummy job with your little shitty crummy pay, and if you don't, you're gonna be broke, you little bitch. That's what companies are doing. And then they're like, huh? People are resigning? Mass resignation? Huh? Alright. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it.